Miss Lizzy, thank you for coming on. From you're in New York right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for coming on, sharing your wealth of knowledge regarding the Happy Friday principles. And for those who don't know, the Happy Friday principles is fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. And I believe if you live by these principles, then you will be happy. So every day, that's why we say every day is Friday except Saturday and Sunday. And I want to start off with asking you, what does the word fearless mean to you, and how do you live by that every day?
Thank you for having me, Jason. And the word fearless means, in the literal sense, not being afraid. And I live in a city that's getting very, very scary right now. So I think I literally live the word every day. I'm fearless to go out. I'm fearless to go to work. I started going back to the office since the early days of the pandemic, actually.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when there was hardly anybody on the streets, hardly anybody on the subways, I was the only one riding the subway. And people would ask me, "Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared?" And I think that to me was being fearless, was not being worried about what's going on or what'll happen, but just doing what I had to do, which is going to work. Not because I'm crazy about work, but because I hate working from home.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So going to work in the subway and being all alone sometimes, both in the subway, riding and on the subway station and walking the streets of New York, which is always crowded with people, but I was alone sometimes. And the office building, there were hardly anybody for like months and months on end.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was the only one on our floor, and I think that's fearless to me.
Wow, wow, wow. Excellent, excellent. Well, the next principle and word is resilient. What does that mean to you?
Hmm. Resilient, resilient. Now I sound like I'm in the spelling bee repeating the word.
And and
Um,
it can be something that you have lived within your life as well, in terms of.
Yeah, I think being resilient is just being able to, having come to this country as an immigrant with nothing, and then being able to, uh, have my utmost lows of lows emotionally, financially and everything, and being able to bounce back.
Wow.
I think that's being resilient to me, and really being able to never let it put me down. I just use the being down as a way to push me up again. Like I always feel like whenever I'm completely down and I feel like there's nowhere else to go, I
Yes,
always
ma'am.
go up, and that's resilience to me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And where are you from?
Kenya.
Kenya. That is right.
God.
That is right. That is right. Okay. The next word is intuitive.
Intuitive. That's an interesting one because sometimes I don't think I'm very intuitive. But I think working with my boss and partnering with him for such a long time, I've worked for the company for almost 19 years now since I came to New York. I think the second year I was here, and just knowing what is going to happen with him on a day-to-day basis and my work on a day-to-day basis, I think that keeps me or makes me very intuitive because I like to be one or two steps ahead of everything that I have to do on a regular basis, including the biggest challenge is always is scheduling. People think scheduling is not a big deal, but when you work for a C-suite executive,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
life revolves around scheduling and
Yes, ma'am.
things change at the drop of a hat. It's crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
So I like to always be intuitive and know what's going,
Yes, ma'am.
on what will happen. So I'm not surprised when things happen.
Does that, like, as far as like, because you're in the middle of like the hustle and bustle of Wall Street and everything as well? Like, do you
Yeah,
have to go through that? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. So the next word will be determination. what does that principle mean to you and in your life?
So going back to my immigrant story, when I left home with nothing, I left home with two pairs of jeans, four t-shirts, and $250 in my pocket.
Wow.
The one-way ticket to America. And I came here and I was so determined. I remember the last words to my brother when I left home before going to the airport. I said to him, I am not coming back to Kenya until I make it in America, until I get a green card.
Wow.
And that was my determination. I came here very determined to do that. And it didn't matter what I had to do, how I had to do, but I was determined that America was going to be my home.
Wow.
And I was very determined to do that. And I did it.
Wow. Have you been back to Kenya?
Oh, I go every couple of years. I was
Every,
there just in December. Yeah.
wow. 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 What is the difference between those that you see in like the people that you see in Kenya and the United States, like in terms of their determination? Is it like the same type of?
Well, Kenya is a very poor country in the sense that we're a third world country. It's rich compared to some of the African countries, but it's also a third world country. It's poor. I didn't grow up with a lot of stuff, so we grew up average. And people in Kenya are hardworking. They're humble. They're very honest people. I think in general, when I compare them to people in America, people in Kenya are very genuine. Like my friends to this day. Like I go back, we pick up wherever we left off. I've been in this country 21 years. I cannot say I have a friend that I can say is a genuine friend.
Wow. Wow.
That's the difference. But Kenyans are generally very, very kind, very forgiving, very humble, they'll give you the shirt off their back. I have yet to hear somebody say Kenyans are not nice people.
Yes.
Very, very, very nice people.
And did you like when you came here, did you speak the language fluently or?
Yeah, Kenya is a British colony, so we grew up speaking English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
English was taught in schools. It still is. It's the main language actually of conducting business, everything. Kenya operates on two languages, English and Kiswahili, but English is widely used. Even the proceedings in parliament everything is in English.
Wow.
And that's of course being, the fact that we were a British colony.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next principle and word is appreciative.
Appreciative to me is just life every day. You have to be appreciative of everything you have. And I think appreciative for me, it goes hand in hand with gratitude.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
always very grateful. I'm always very appreciative of everything people do for me, everything people say to me. I'm appreciative of everything I learn. I'm appreciative of the company I work for.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm appreciative of people who believe in me and my family. And, I appreciate everything. I just always appreciate everything. I'm appreciative of this country. I mean, I've been able to do so much having come here with nothing. I finally own an apartment in New York City.
Wow.
I could never imagine doing that if I was still in Kenya. So it's quite something. And I'm appreciative. Every day I'm appreciative of being alive.
Yes, ma'am.
Being able to breathe.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So
I'm
is it
appreciative of everything.
So as far as like in comparisons to life and like apartments, for instance, being you said appreciative of just your apartment, and what is the difference between Kenya standard of living and?
Well, it's very expensive over there, right? Even when I lived there, it was always very expensive to own anything. You couldn't own real estate then when I lived there over 20 years ago. And even now, when I was there in December, I saw, all my friends and some relatives that still don't own anything because it's just so expensive. And the money you make, you're always torn between, do I feed my family? Do I pay my bills? Or do I invest in a property? And of course, feeding your family and paying your bills takes precedence over investing in a property.
Wow.
You don't have that extra surplus money to invest in the property.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So it's very difficult, very hard to own something in Kenya. I mean, I'm not saying people don't own. Oh, there are people who own mansions and people who own multiple apartments. Some own buildings, and
Uh-huh.
but it's just when you're an average person like I was or I am, you just, you know, there's levels where you I would say middle and lower. You very hard to own anything.
Have you ever thought about going back there to stay?
I would. I every year, every time I go back, it. So if I say, how do I put this? If I had a scale of 1 to 10, um, about 10 years ago, the scale would be like 10. I'm definitely going back there.
Yes, man.
And every time I've gone back since, the scale's going lower and lower and lower. And I just, it's because it's changed so much. There's been so much investment from China. It's not the same Kenya that I left 20 years ago. I mean, it'll still be home. It'll always be home for me, but it's changed a lot.
Wow.
It's changed to an extent where I don't recognize it anymore. Like, I feel terrible when I go back home and I have to ask for directions because the roads have changed and there's all Chinese investment.
Wow. So it's like built up.
Good. I'm not poo-pooing the investment. It's actually really good because it's developed the country. It's modernized the country.
Uh-huh.
But on the other hand, it just makes you feel like, oh, things have changed. People have changed. Nobody has time for you anymore. It's just, and I guess it's also as you get older and generations change, it's a whole different, it's very different.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So would I go back? I don't know. If I met a Kenyan man who enticed me to go back, then maybe yes. But otherwise,
otherwise. Yes, ma'am. The next word or the principle is youthful. What does that mean to you, and how do you remain youthful every day?
Oh, wow. I wish I could remain youthful every day. Somebody needs to come up with an elixir of youth so I can take one. Youthful, I think to me, it's a mindset. I feel like if you psych your mind to believe you're youthful and you just believe that aging is not a problem and you believe that it's not a hindrance. And a lot of people think like, oh, at my age, I shouldn't be able to do that. There's never such a thing as at my age.
Yeah,
you can be 100 and you can be so strong and so brilliant and, do everything. I know people who are so much older and they're unbelievably youthful and they're resilient and everything. And then I know some people who are younger than me who behave like they're 100 years old.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
To me, youthful is just a mindset. Your age doesn't matter. Where you come from, what you do, anything doesn't matter. Youthful is all in your mind, I think. And if you have that young mindset, you will always stay young, physically, mentally, emotionally. You'll always be that youthful person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I may be wrong. I think some people will disagree with me, but that's what I think.
I said, you're absolutely right. Like I recently seen a video of, I think the lady was like 74 years old and
Wow.
she was like very muscular and everything. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
I see videos of older people doing puzzles and doing stuff that you're like, oh my God, that brain at that age is like, again, that age, we shouldn't have that mindset of that age. It's just,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's
just all in your mind. I think what you put in your mind, what you say to yourself every day happens. You believe it. We tend to believe ourselves the most. So if we keep telling ourselves we have to be youthful, and you'll be youthful in every way.
Absolutely. So that covers the principles. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That's fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. If you live those things every day, then every day is your Friday.
Amen to that.
So thank you for coming on, Lizzy. And
thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You too.